I'm Mahdi Shaheeb Sher. My website is www.mahdishaheebsher.com. I think one of my interests in the world is Australia. I don't quite connect with Australia. I don't really have any association with Australia. But I think the interesting thing about Australia is the way it's positioned in the world. It seems to be very much by itself in the world, and that's quite interesting and remarkable, I think, for Australia to be in the world. I think it's a continent, so it's a continent country, quite a large country, but it seems to have more kind of the inland, the desert within Australia. So I think it just has coastal cities within Australia. But mainly I think I have disfavourable opinions and views about Australia because of its history as a colonial outpost for prisoners of the British Empire. So I think that's one of the contentious things about Australia, that most of its population are kind of descendants from its status as a prisoner colony of the British Empire, and I think that's existed from 1750. So I think that it is kind of characterized with that kind of personality. It is very physically orientated. I think the population of Australia is quite physically orientated. I think that it's quite outdoor orientated, and I think the personalities are very much based on being kind of physically strong rather than being strong in mind or any other aspect of character. So I think that Australians are quite physically strong as people. But I think with Australia at the moment, it seems to be very focused on, it seems to be very concentrated with social media. I think most of the world's social media is concentrated in Australia. I think Facebook is based there, and I think Netflix is based there, and a lot of other media and social media is based in Australia. So I think as an economy, Australia is doing very well in the world, and I think it's very important to the global economy with some of the things it has, like Netflix and Facebook. I think that it has a lot of important assets that the world economy depends on, and a lot of those things seem to be concentrated in Australia for some reason. I think Australia is kind of unique in that most of the world has kind of very close interconnected relationships and have a daily kind of contact and exchange. But with Australia, I think that it kind of almost sits alone in the world, where it's positioned in the world, and it does very well in how it sits in the world. So I think that that's quite interesting about Australia, that it seems very powerful in the world, but it's some kind of a sleeping giant. I think that's what Australia is. It's some kind of a sleeping giant. So I think the way it is, I think that the country is shaped like the face of a hound or a dog, or some kind of animal like a dog. I think it looks like with its kind of pointed ears and nose and things. So I think that it is kind of quite strong as a country, and I think that it is a kind of an important country for the future. So that's my view of Australia. I do admire Australia very much. I do have disfavourable opinions about it, simply because of its kind of outlook and way of life. But I think that despite those differences, that Australia is an important country in the world, and a lot of the global economy depends on Australia in the world. So I think it's an important country in the world, maybe similar to India or China in a certain respect, similar to China. And I think that's how big Australia is. So I think that's worth considering, because I think most of the world is oblivious to Australia in the world. But I think it should be viewed, and I think it should be examined, and I think that there should be discussion and dialogue and maybe relationships with Australia to determine what Australia wants, to determine what it wants, and to perhaps enter into some kind of negotiations with it, and to perhaps incorporate it more into the global world, rather than to have it as an isolated sleeping giant. So I think for Australia to be incorporated into the global world would be a positive step, and I think it would be beneficial for the world as well, because I think Australia does have things to contribute to the world. It is a large country with a lot of expertise and a lot of ability as well, a lot of ability. So I think Australia does have something to offer to the world, and it should be included in the world. And I think that should be a priority. Thank you very much.